Ubisoft is listening to feedback for Assassin's Creed Shadows. When I saw this, I was like, this is good stuff. I will get over it. I want to go over some small news items for Shadows. Ubisoft shared some big new gameplay that's kind of been making the rounds. So let's have a look at Yasuke here.
You would too. Yeah.
That I love, like, the kick was always, of course, always in the game. Even Valhalla had one as well. Kick of Tear, of course. But being able to, like, kick through the Soji door is so awesome. And it looks great. Love how the first guy is not even a target, but the Naginata's range is pretty great. So he dies as well. That is totally the most brutal finisher you can do in the game. I do hope there are enough finishers, because I now played the game, of course, early. Was invited by Ubisoft, and I already saw the same finishers a couple of times. So I hope there are still some finishers in the main game that we don't know about yet. So yeah, people are excited about this. It was interesting that people were surprised by the dismemberment in this video, and I was like, where have you guys been? Because there is always dismemberment in this game. Of course, Valhalla had brutal finishers. Shadows is taking that in some regards to a new level, but you can of course tweak that if you don't want it. And in the Japanese version, it's off by default. So when I went to Japan and I played the game there, there were no dismemberment features, which was interesting. Let's keep going. We got some other news here. Sapphirus, I'm not sure if you're in the chat there, but yeah, seems like the preload date for Assassin's Creed Shadows will be March 18th at 12 a.m. So probably your local time. Then you also see the pre-order stuff. So, and yeah, the DLC will of course not be part of that. That will be launching later. But yeah, you can already see that if you pre-order the game, you of course get the DLC. But it's awesome. And the game seems to be around the 86 gigs on the PlayStation 5. There might be like an update on top of that too. But yeah, nice that you can download that beforehand. And on March 18th is also when the reviews are supposed to go live. So you'll see the reviews, game starts downloading, you are ready to go. So in regards to the feedback, so they dropped a new article. I went over it in my most recent video on the main channel as well. And when I read this, there was one part that just stood out to me that I thought was really, really awesome. Following feedback we received after the preview event for Assassin's Creed Shadows, we've also recently added Yasuke and Naue icons on items looted in the world, so have a better understanding of who this new item is meant for. And if you're like, okay, what is this about? Well, if you follow the main channel as well and the Assassin's Creed coverage, then you know that at one point we did a video. Here it was, let's see, February 7th. Where I talked about the fact that I was like playing, and yeah, you constantly loot items. So here with Naue, here you see, okay, with Naue, I'm looting a Cannibal. So this is clear, right? Naue cannot use that heavy mace. So that makes sense. But if we continue and we see Yasuke here, okay, this also makes sense. It's a headgear for Naue. This is not what he uses. So you kind of understand it. But then at one point I picked up a katana. And we know that both Yasuke and Naue can use a katana. So I was like, okay, the katana of the... Is this like for Yasuke or Naue? So I went into the menu and I could not see this weapon that I just looted simply because it was for Naue. And if we like compare the two, you really see that, okay, so yeah, you loot one of the two items, like you do see, okay, so this katana is a bit more to the right here. If you like see it in side to side, you can see some comparisons, like the saya, the side, yeah, the thing where you put your blade in is larger. But if you just see the pop up, you don't know who the thing is for. It's even worse for the trinkets. Let's see. So here I'm getting a trinket. It's like, okay, because both characters have these trinkets, so I went into the menu again. I did not see it. Let's see. I think we have a comparison of the trinkets here in a moment as well. Yeah, you cannot see who it is for. So I think it's just really awesome that what they now did is, and we don't have footage of what this looks like yet, but it is basically an icon from their head on the loot icon. So then every time you pick something up, you're like, okay, this is a Yasuke piece, this is a Naue piece. And I think it's just really awesome. And that is also what this delay allowed them to do, because the preview event was mid-January, and then the game came out on February 14th. That was the original plan. So even if we had this feedback, they never had time to implement it. But now with the delay to March 20th, they could incorporate feedback like that. And it just, for me, as someone who's been following Ubisoft games and covering them, talking about them for a long time, it really feels like a nice step. And it kind of reminds me of what I think went wrong with Star Wars Outlaws, because I remember going to preview events for that game too, and many people I talked to, like many other creators, and even during my interview, I was like, what is the deal with Kate throwing her weapons away and we cannot use them, and why can we not hold them on a speeder or something? And then they of course later added that. But I really think that if they, during those preview events, listen to feedback as well, because a ton of people were like, yo, these stealth missions with the insta-fill, they're not great. Yo, it's weird that I only have a blaster and then I find a sniper when everyone is already dead and I cannot take it to the next camp. So I think that Outlaws would have really benefited from them listening to feedback from preview events as well, because then the update they released in November, where they added all the things, like, right, this is another change they made. So normally in this part of the game, when you get spotted by the enemies, insta-fill, you go back to the start of this area. Now you can like fight like you would, like, okay, I'm getting spotted, that sucks, let's just fight my way out of it. That was first not possible. If you did this, it was like, oh, I'm getting caught and it's over. And I just think it's like pretty obvious. Okay, listen to feedback, implement it. But obviously, game directors and people in charge of the game, they have a vision for the game, and they sometimes are not open to feedback. And that's, I think, what we usually saw for Star Wars Outlaws. And then a few months later, they still went back on those things, on their vision basically, and added the things that we actually wanted. So I think it's cool to see that with Shadows, they're already doing that before launch. And I hope they, like, we already know the black and white filter, where if you take out an enemy, if you assassinate them, that is also something they seemingly are looking into, to turn that off. So that is, I think, already exciting. And I think it's just a good trend, right? That they're listening to feedback from the creators, people, the press that are playing it, from people online. So maybe, I'm saying fingers crossed, they will add the helmets to the cutscenes. That's, I know, another like big thing people have been asking for. Of course, something that wasn't possible in Odyssey 2. Just such a small thing, you think, right? And something you just want. If you find this cool hood, you want to wear it in the cutscene too. So yeah, I hope they look into it. But I'm just more optimistic about them really quickly implementing feedback that I think really improves the game. So I think this is a positive thing. Let's continue a bit, because we also have Nick here, who is a production manager at Ubisoft on Assassin's Creed Shadows. You all aren't prepared to see what we've been cooking for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Again, we're in March now. The game is a little over 2 weeks away at the time of this recording. The marketing has been kind of slow still, but we know Assassin's Creed marketing can go crazy. So I'm really expecting a game overview trailer, a post-launch trailer, hopefully, although maybe with the Animus Hub things have changed, because they already kind of announced the first DLC, etc. But again, I really think they can still turn it up. They can still, hopefully not spoil too much, but I do think it would be great for them to kind of give us an idea. Right now the game seems pretty small, I think, because we only saw one area. They just have shown like random environments where the seasons change. I think it's good for them to, okay, but there's actually a ton you can do. These are the activities, etc., without spoiling too much of the story. So I can't wait for it. They also shared a GIF of, and the quality is not that great, but I think we can still look at it, of a blog post they're still planning to do. So yeah, there will be like an out or like a hideout blog post. So they will talk more about the hideout feature. Of course, we talked about it on the channel already, but I think it's cool that I only played with the hideout feature for less than an hour and was kind of overwhelmed, and I really wanted to focus on, okay, what are the gameplay benefits of the Forge and all that sort of stuff, where you can engrave your items, upgrade your weapons. But like, I really think that this blog, as you already see here, if you have played around a lot with this feature, I think you can really go crazy with it. And yeah, I hope this blog post with the new gameplay really shows some of the cool things the developers who have been working on this for multiple years have kind of made. Because I really think that this feature will elevate Shadows to a new height in terms of like word of mouth and social media, oh my god moments, in terms of, whoa, did someone really make this? And it might go the rounds, and I think it's gonna be very, very cool. So of course, let me know if you're excited for Shadows. Subscribe for more, and of course, like, really, I can't wait to get started with the Shadows coverage again, and yeah, play the game at the same time as you, etc. So check out our recent video by clicking on the screen, and I will speak to you soon. Goodbye.